Karen had a particular knack for believing that rules applied only when convenient to her. Her next target was my neighbor, a gentleman with a visible disability, whom she seemed determined to mock at every opportunity. She strutted into the judicial proceedings like she owned the courtroom, jeering and laughing at his reliance on accommodations she didn't understand. She didn't know that the man she derided wasn't just capable. He was a legal prodigy. Years of study, courtroom experience, and strategic thinking made him a force she couldn't even begin to comprehend. At first, Karen's antics were subtle. She sneered at his wheelchair, whispered mocking comments about his hearing device, and even attempted to question the validity of his legal arguments, assuming they would crumble under her condescension. But the moment she tried to make him look foolish, she underestimated the depth of his preparation. Every insult, every jab, every dismissive gesture was meticulously recorded, catalogued, and prepared for counteraction. The courtroom became a theater of poetic justice. Karen's smirks turned to confusion as he presented evidence she hadn't anticipated, citing laws she hadn't read and precedents she couldn't understand. He dismantled her claims with precision, exposing not only the illegality of her HOA's overreach but also the absurdity of her behavior. By the time the hearing ended, Karen was sitting in stunned silence, her ego bruised beyond repair. She hadn't just lost a case. She had underestimated someone who could foresee her every move and turn her own attacks into her downfall. This event wasn't just a victory for him. It was a warning to everyone who assumed that power without preparation was enough. Karen, for all her self-importance, had learned that mocking the wrong person could lead to public humiliation and legal consequences she had never imagined. But she didn't stop there. Fueled by stubbornness, she continued to push boundaries, now more reckless than ever, unaware that the ripple effect of her arrogance was only beginning. And that was precisely what made her the perfect target for the next stages of our response. While her focus was on laughing at a man she assumed couldn't defend himself, she neglected the fact that she had crossed paths with people, myself included, who were far more prepared and far more capable. Every insult, every attempt at intimidation, every false accusation would later serve as evidence in ways she could not have predicted. By the end of the week, Karen's reputation had begun to fracture. Neighbors whispered about her behavior, and even the HOA board started questioning her judgment. It was clear to everyone paying attention that she was no longer untouchable. The disabled gentleman, once underestimated, had become the embodiment of meticulous preparation and legal prowess, a living testament to the consequences of arrogance. Karen had thought she could ridicule someone into submission, but she had miscalculated completely. And that miscalculation, as it turned out, was just the beginning. Because while Karen floundered in the courtroom, she didn't realize that I, and others who understood her pattern of entitlement, were already planning the next moves. Every one of her missteps, every sneer, and every underestimation had been logged, prepared for, and would be repaid in ways that she couldn't even imagine. The HOA's supposed authority, the power she clung to so desperately, had no weight against the combination of law, strategy, and unwavering preparedness. By the time Karen understood the consequences of her actions, it was already too late.